Hello and welcome back to A Splash of Paint. Now, before the break, accomplished SIA professional artist Murray Ince demonstrated how to use pastels to paint the perfect, stunning sunset. Let's rejoin Murray as he prepares to add the sea and the final finishing touches to today's Try Your Hand at Pastel project.
Thanks, Matthew. Earlier in the programme, you saw me get the sky of this sunset painting to this stage. I'm going to do a little bit more work on it. It needs a little bit of brightening, and then I'm going straight into the foreground. So I want to take a brighter yellow, and where these two meet here, I just want to put this yellow in and take it into the sky just above along here, and then a few little bits down below. I think we'll put a bit through there, and there's a line of cloud catching the sun just along the horizon there, and the sun itself is just down here, so nothing definite, it's all sort of soft focus, and this needs blending in a little bit, taking some of that colour through over to this side, not too much, and just along here again, just a line, so just going back to that sort of waggling motion so that I don't get a dead straight line, and then just soften that, soften it in. As I was saying earlier, the beauty of pastel painting is that you can go back at any time, so if later on in the painting there's something that you're not quite sure about, you want to alter it slightly, it's really easy to do. I'm now going to sort of put in the distant landmass, which comes between the rocks, which is about here, so, and then bring that on, trying to keep the line straight for the horizon again. That little bit of land, which is the Jurassic coast on the Isle of Wight, where all the dinosaur fossils are found. So that's going through there. And again, just to soften, that purple colour going through there recedes, pushes back into the distance, so it gives you a natural sense of recession, gives the painting a bit of depth. Foreground, of just in front of that, is a lower headland, slightly darker, so this is a sort of Payne's grey that I'm just putting through there, and again that gives, if I make the line a little more definite, put the glasses on so I can see what I'm doing, so I just want that line to be a little more definite through here, and then just soften it off again, so that's a little bit better. So colour of the rocks, quite silhouetted against the sky, so looking to take a little measurement of where that land comes in conjunction with the land mass, so we bring the cliff in here and then bring that down, and then this rock, I want the sky between it, which is Mermaid Rock at Freshwater Bay. So just get the outline in, that comes down into the sea there, and there's a little bit behind that headland, so this headland comes around here, might have that a little bit on the large side, so go slightly higher, that, and yeah, so, and then come across and Stag Rock. I'm going to lighten the sky a little bit behind this because I think that Stag Rock will stand out more against the lighter bit of sky in the background here, so just lighten that on the horizon, and clean finger, so a bit of kitchen roll is always good for this, and just blend that in a little bit more. So just get that in quick, that's a bit better. Take the two together, And then we're back to draw stag rocking. So just check the levels of where the bottom of the rock comes in comparison with the cliffs and that on the left, and we'll just put it in up over the sky. So I want to be a little bit careful, get the outline just about right. And it's almost the same height as the rock over here, Mermaid Rock, and drops down and down, and then there's that little bit of rock that goes into the water there. So we can just now block this in. Again, this is Payne's grey, so a dark Payne's grey. So it's a good base colour for these silhouetted rocks. So we've got a block in there. And then just a little bit here. Again, I've just established the top line, so go that way, and then change the direction of the pastel strokes, because the strata, it doesn't look like it in the photograph, but these are actually chalk cliffs, but where they're in silhouette they are very dark. So that's the basis. I've smudged along there, so that's we can just touch that in through there, and then just here a little bit as I put some Payne's grey just on the sky there. So we'll lighten that, correct that top line with the yellow pastel, and then we can make that more definite. And just soften that off. What you don't want to do is end up echoing the shape of anything that you're going around. It always looks a bit funny. The classic is when you've got a church tower on the horizon of a landscape, and the church tower sticks up and somebody's done the clouds around the church tower instead of going behind it. So just make sure that that sort of looks fairly realistic. Okay, and now I'm going to get some colour into the water. So this might look a bit bright, but I'm using this dark charcoal paper, which with this pink is going to allow me to very gently, and I'm going in horizontal strokes, so it just lets me leave the little misses look like shadow areas on the water. So going across here again, it changes, so I've got to be a bit careful. Look what's happening. That colour comes through there, through the back here, and just cut round that rock. And there. Okay, so the water over here has a slight angle to it, so what we'll do now is start putting the strokes on following that angle line. Just come back that way a little bit more. So that's a base colour, and now we go back to the grey, the purple grey, and this is where we need to check the horizon line. Sometimes it's a good idea to stand on the edge of the board and look across, and you can see any wavy bits that shouldn't be there, and at least then you've got an idea of where to make the alteration. Just take out the wiggle. So here we go. Now, same thing. There's light coming through there, so on this side I'm going to just turn the pastel around horizontally and put some strokes in that way. This side's in shadow because of the rocks and the cliffs, so let's see if we can do it this way. So to there, and then this line back a bit. So keeping, again, it's keeping the strokes horizontal. And come through there. Pull a bit back this way. There's a few lines coming through the waves, the back of the waves. It's the tide pushing it, just pushing it in, and there's a little shadow side on the side closest to us. So try and sort of indicate that. And then under this rock we want some shadow. A little bit there. Over this side, between the rocks, that's a bit pink. Again, so we can correct that with the edge of the pastel coming through. It's very soft and misty there, so I'm just going to take that grey line of land into there, soften that, and come across. So a few little touches through here. Back with the pink one. So take the pink pastel again, and then we can brighten some of this up again, working the combination of the two colours backwards and forwards. The light is coming through there beautifully, so we're just lighten that bit up. On the back edge of Stag Rock here, Stag Rock got its name because it used to be a lot closer to the cliff, and there was the story goes, there was a pack of hounds on a stag hunt, and the stag leapt off the cliff onto the top of Stag Rock to escape. Evidently that was back in the 1700s, and it's been Stag Rock ever since. In between the two rocks there used to be an arch rock, which was probably the most famous view of Freshwater Bay, but that went in 1988, I think it was. That fell into the sea. So a little bit of light, not white, it's too bright. So just put that in and then go back with the purple colour and just go over there. So it's not quite so white. Straighten that line up. And then put a little bit of colour in the cliffs here. So pulling down, again, following the strata of the chalk cliffs. So pulling those lines down at an angle. Just going to lighten some of that up, just a touch, just very, very softly going in with the white pastel over the top, but again, keeping it going, following the strata, not too light. And then Stag Rock, Mermaid Rock, this one just wants a little bit more. And I'll leave an edge to show the separation there. And again, if that sort of becomes too light, we can just darken that down again. And a little bit on this one. So just pulling that down. So it's slightly too light, so we just go back over with the grey, and then a little bit of the purple, and then the grey one again, just to put back the reflection slightly. And again, if you do too much, we can just have a few movement lines through there, which helps to sort of describe water. A little bit here, a little bit there, and you can carry on working this. At this stage, the sea, it's just working the little marks in. So you can always find a corner on a pastel, even round ones, that you can just put these little marks in. And the important thing is anything you put in the foreground here wants to be larger than anything you put back here. So back here you can put a few touches in and then just soften it off. But in the foreground you can keep your main larger marks, which again helps with the effect of recession. And the final little bit is to just reintroduce just a little bit of the colour back there. There's a little bit more refining needed. You can shape in and anything that you've put in. There's a little grey mark there, for instance, so it's just a case of going back and cleaning up. And there we are. That's a very quick pastel sketch of a sunset. So I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Great use of directional strokes to create shapes, movement and highlights. A lovely project. Some really top tips there. Thanks, Murray. Right, time for our final break, but join us in part 4 when mixed media artist Alison Board shares a top tip for adding a touch of texture into your works of art. And I'll be returning to the fantastic Derbyshire countryside to show you how to use your camera to capture depth and detail in reference photographs. We'll see you very soon.